Welcome to Granny's Country Cooking, and I am Granny. And today we are making a special recipe that is a pie dough, and it will be a pie shell that will be baked in the oven for any kind of pie you want to make. Maybe chocolate cream pies, lemon meringue pies, cream pies, coconut cream pies, anything that you need. A shell, a pie shell that's rolled out and baked in the oven, very easy, very quick, and we're going to make the pie shell today. And I want to thank you for all of you watching and being followers and subscribers, and we will be right back. I'll get everything set up for you, and we are going to get started on our pie shell. So thank you all for being with us, and thank you for being in my kitchen and helping me cook today. And I'm so excited to hear from you. You can write in the comments. You can also subscribe. I would love to hear from you at my email, which is granniescountrycooking@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. So in just a minute, we are going to get everything set up and get everything ready to go, and we will get started on our pie shell. Thank you. Be right back. Okay, we are back. Now we're going to be making our pie dough and pie shell, bake it in the oven. But the first thing I want to say is for all the new cooks that are watching, to be sure and have your hands washed. Have your hair pulled back so that it doesn't get in your way. If you have an apron, put your apron on. And if you don't have an apron, put a towel around you, because it helps you to enjoy cooking. You don't get your clothes messy, as well as you don't get your little fuzzies from your fur babies to get into the food. Also, I always have a little bucket of soapy water with a little bit of bleach. That also helps me to put my dishes in there, and it's almost washed by the time I get ready to wash them. All right, now we are going to make our pie dough. Now we're going to use 2 cups of flour, and we're going to use a sifter. I'm always trying to be careful because you never know what may be in the flour. So we are going to get our sifter out, and we're going to use 2 cups of flour. Okay, there's 1. And here is 2. Okay, now we are going to use 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to wipe on my apron. And it's already getting a little messy, but it doesn't matter. We are going to use 1 teaspoon of salt. And I have my little salt container. I love my little vintage, old little salt container. And I do use sea salt. It does make a difference, and it has a better flavor to it. And so we're going to use sea salt, 1 teaspoon. Okay, there's 1. All righty. I'm going to get this put up. Get this out of the way. Then we're going to sift it all together. As I was growing up, my mother had a little bakery in our home. And when I was 3 years old, I had the chance to start helping her, maybe stir some things or something. And I grew up cooking and absolutely loved it. It was just wonderful. Okay, we've got our flour in there. Now we're going to blend in our Crisco. I like to use butter Crisco because the flavor is so good and it's so flaky and so nice. So we are going to use 1 cup of butter Crisco. This recipe will make 2 small pie pans of pie dough, or it will make 1 larger pie dough. So we're going to make a little bit bigger size. I'll show you the pie pan in just a minute. This is half a cup, so I'm going to get 2 of these. As you can see, I have my pastry cloth and my rolling pin ready. This is half, so we're going to slide it in and scoop it around. All right. Now we're going to do one more. I'm going to slide that off there. You can use a cup size. I just happen to have this handy. So we're going to do this. Texas has been so hot. I know everywhere else has been hot this year, but whoa, it has really, really been hot. You may see me wiping the sweat a little bit. Now the one thing you want to make sure is you have your oven preheated to 400. And our oven right now is heating up to 400. Alrighty. Now we're going to slide it in. Turn it in a big circle. Get all of this out. Now this is the only thing I don't like to drop into the soapy water, because the Crisco kind of turns into glue. All right, now we will get this off here. Now what we want to do is to blend the Crisco and the flour together until it's kind of in little lumps. So this is what we're doing. So we're going to start. Now, if you don't have a pastry cutter, you can use a fork. That's plenty. That's fine. And this one is like a little vintage antique pastry cutter that I absolutely love using. After we get our pie shell cooked, then we are going to let it cool down, and we will make our other parts to this recipe. We'll make our pie filling to go in to the pie shell. That's going to be fun. Now, as you can tell, I'll move the water a little bit. What I'm doing is I'm stirring and turning in a circle so I can get all of it mixed together. Get it all blended together where it's not just lumps of Crisco in there. All right, we're getting this all mixed up. And it's looking really, really good. Okay. Make sure we get all the Crisco off of this and blend it in there. Okay, there's a little bit of Crisco left in there, so I'm going to blend a little bit more, and you can kind of tell if it's not blended together just right. Okay, now I'll show you what it looks like. And we're going to add our liquid here in just a minute. And it looks like little mixed up lumps like this. like little lumps like that. Now, if you wanted to use a store-bought pastry, it's just fine. But if you have some time and you would like to try this, it has such a better flavor. Now, we're going to add the liquid to this. And this will be half a cup of liquid. But a little pioneer secret is when the pioneer ladies found out that you could add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to the liquid and add it to the pie shell. And what it does, it makes the pie dough flakier, and it makes it even taste better, and it has more of a texture that you can work with a lot better. So that's what we're going to be doing. We'll put 1 teaspoon. This is 1 teaspoon. We're going to put this into this little cup. Okay. And we'll put this up. We're going to use water, and we're going to make half a cup of water. I have to put my finger on it because the lid falls. Now we're going to do half of a cup. Okay. Now we're going to stir that together. And we are going to just dump it into the flour mixture. Okay. Now we're going to stir and mix this all up into a ball. And we may need to add a little bit more flour, but we'll see when we get there. There's something unusual about flour and the weather and humidity. And if you're making homemade breads, it's really strange because the recipes may tell you between 5 and 6 cups of flour, but what they're saying is that you're not sure, but by the temperature of the weather, the humidity, you may need a little bit more or a little bit less. So that's why they're saying that, and we may be needing a little bit more. Now you can see this is stirring together good. We're going to add just a teeny bit more flour to make it into a ball. We're stirring this all up, making a nice big ball. Now this will make 2 small pie shells or 1 larger pie shell. And you'll have some excess left over, but that's okay. You'll have plenty. So we are stirring this up really nice. And we want to make sure all of that watery and Crisco is all stirred together. And it's turning into a nice ball. We're still going to add a little bit more flour. Kind of work it into it. We'll get this out. One thing about pie dough or biscuit dough is that you don't have to knead it a lot. It's kind of a tender pastry, and you don't have to have a lot of flour or a lot of kneading it too much. All right, this really looks nice. Looky there. Now we're going to take a little bit of flour with your fingers, it's okay, and just kind of sprinkle a little bit in there. We're going to work our hands into it. What I'm doing is taking my hand and pulling and pushing. My fingers are like this, and I'm pulling and pushing, and then moving the bowl in a circle. Like that. See? I'm going like this, like this. Need a little bit more flour. If y'all hear me sniffing every once in a while, it's allergies also. And I may have to get my hanky out to wipe some of the liquid on my face. Just a teensy bit. What we're doing is we're getting it kind of into a little rubbery feel so that it'll roll out good. All right, now let's look and see. Ooh, that's a pretty ball of dough. Now, you want to make sure you have plenty of flour on the pastry cloth because this is kind of sticky a little bit, and when you're rolling it out, you don't want it to stick on the pastry cloth and can't get it up. So you want plenty of flour. As you can see, I've got quite a bit. So we're just going to kind of work it around a little bit. Kind of get some of that stickiness, kind of roll it over in the front. Make sure we have plenty of flour. Now we're going to roll it out, and we're going to get our rolling pin with flour and then start in the middle and push out, middle, push out, and go in a circle. All right, here we go. In the middle, roll out, middle, roll out. Oh, it looks beautiful. Get some more on the pastry thing, the rolling pin. Oh, that's really looking nice. Get some more on the pastry rolling pin there. Okay, now, if you were making 2 small pies, when I first had that ball, you would cut it in half with a knife and then roll it with your hands and get it in a circle and then roll it out for a smaller pie. But we're wanting to make enough with plenty dough. So this is our 9-inch pie pan. It's kind of an average pie pan. So we're going to put it here, and it looks like we've got plenty. All right. Now this is kind of the tricky part, and you want to be able to pick it up without it tearing. Whoa, yay! It worked. And you get it half, and then you can do it this way, and then put it in. Now the point is in the middle. Point is in the middle. And then we're going to roll this over. Then we're going to roll this back. Okay. Now we'll work with it in the pan. Now remember, your oven is at 400, getting ready for the pie shell. So we're going to kind of work with our hands and kind of smooth it up the sides right in here. Okay, we're going to kind of move the sides up a little bit. Kind of do that right there. Get all the little crinkles. Now this is the same pie dough that I use in making fried pies, in making any kind of pie, 2 crust pies. This is the same recipe. Now you want to cut a lot of this excess off because you don't want a real big, thick edge around it. And what you can do, if you have time, is get a little cookie sheet and put these little pieces on the cookie sheet and sprinkle it with cinnamon sugar. Ooh, That is very, very good. Now, what I'm doing is I'm trimming it off about 1/2 inch from this edge right there. And the reason is we're going to roll it into like a little edge, and it'd be a real pretty little edge. Okay, see, that's quite a bit of dough right there. That'd make a good little snack. Like I said, this is a recipe for 2 really small pies or 1 really large pie, and this is kind of a medium pie, so we have a little bit extra. Okay, when it tears like that, it's soft enough that you can take your fingers and kind of mash it back together, and it's okay. I'm going to turn the pie pan. Now we're going to trim off some more. Okay, we're going to turn it like this, and we're trimming it off. Now, if I was making a deep dish pie, this pie shell would have been just exactly the right size. But it's a little bit big for this pan, and just would be right for an extra big pie. Make sure we have all of this trimmed off, because if you've seen, like in restaurants or things, where the pie dough is a real big, thick lump at the edge, it doesn't always taste good, and it's kind of hard and tough. So you don't want that much too big. Now, if you have any little cracks and any little things, you can take your hands and just kind of smush it in there. Now we're going to make our edging. And we're going to use these 2 fingers and these thumbs, and we're going to pick the edge up with our thumbs. Use these fingers to roll it under. It's rolled under, and then you mash like that. Then you turn your pie pan. Then you roll under and mash. Roll under and mash. Roll under and mash, under and mash. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm rolling under and then taking this thumb and kind of twisting, poking it out like that. There you go. Now we're going to go fold it under, then roll like that. Use your thumb and push up like that. And the pie dough is so nice and workable. If it doesn't look just right or anything, you can go back and pinch them up some more to make them pretty. Okay. See, I'm going like that, little twist. Okay, rolling like this. Okay. There's a little tear. So what I'm going to do is kind of mash it back together. It doesn't hurt. Going to kind of mash that back together. There's a little tear again, so we're going to mash it. Okay, now we've got this right here, and if you see any that doesn't look quite right, then you could go back and kind of work with it because it's flexible. The vinegar makes it workable. And so that makes it really nice, and it's delicious flavored. Now the next thing we're going to do for a pie shell, you don't with a regular pie, but a pie shell, we're going to take a fork and prick holes into it. I have a little pastry fork. You can use a regular fork. Any fork will work. And we're going to prick holes all around the bottom as well as all around the sides. Okay. Now, when this cooks, it will be pretty well closed up together. The pudding won't leak out. But what this does is it keeps the pastry from making little raised bubbles and things, little air bubbles. Now I'm going to go around the sides. And then we put it in the oven at 400, and we're going to check it after about maybe 15 minutes. It might need a little bit more than that, depending on your oven. You want it kind of a little golden brown. Okay. Now, look at our little pie shell fixing to go in the oven. And it's 400 at about 15 to 20 minutes. So I will let you go. I'll put it on the middle rack so it doesn't get too burnt. And for about 15 to 20 minutes on 400. So we will take a break while this is cooking. Okay, our pie shell is out of the oven, and this time it took 25 minutes at 400. So it may depend on your oven, between 15, 20, 25 minutes. But what you want is a nice golden color. And this is absolutely beautiful. I hope I don't drop it. Just beautiful. Now we're going to let this sit off to the side until we make our filling. Now, if you are finishing the video at this moment, then thank you for being with me for making our pie shell today. And let me know how you like making it, or if there's any ideas you have or questions you have, comment below and ask me anything you want. Also, you can write to me at granniescountrycooking@gmail.com. Be sure and push the little bell so you can subscribe to my shows, and you'll know when you have new ones coming along, and also push the like button. I thank you so much for being with us today, and for those that you are continuing on to make the chocolate pie filling and the meringue, I'll see you in just a few minutes. I'll be getting this all set up for our filling. Thank you, and see you in just a minute. Okay.